Welcome back to the Bronx Journal. I'm your guest host, Julissa Quinones. Actor, writer, and rapper Rayniel Rufino has worked on numerous films, such as Liberty Kid, Sugar, Real Music, and GWB. He also started writing his own music at a very young age. He joined us now to talk about his career in film and music. Rayniel, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your role as an actor, writer, and rapper.
Well, I've been fortunate enough to been acting for quite a while now, for 7 years, and I started writing at a very young age, like you said yourself, at the age of maybe 13, 12 years old, and it's been going really good so far.
So how do you manage doing all three? Like, which one would you say is your main focus out of acting, writing, and rapping?
It's funny because people ask me that question all the time, and I would have to say that acting is first, because acting, I guess it's easier to get into. And there's a lot of jobs out there, and you could do so many different things. You could do theater, you could do commercials or films, and so acting right now is what I do the most, but I write all the time. It's just something that I can't stop doing. It's kind of natural.
So how do you get into acting?
Well, because of the writing, I used to write a lot of stories before when I was in school, and I took a script writing class. And one of the professors there, he said that I should try to take acting as in front of the camera instead of behind. So I started doing that, and myself, without an agent, I went out there and I started looking for auditions, and that's when I booked a film called Liberty Kid back in '06.
What would you say really inspired you to become an actor?
I don't know. It's funny though. I guess I love watching movies since I was really young, and watching some of my favorite actors do it kind of inspired me to do that as well. And I look up to a lot of people who did it, and I have a lot of actors who I think are really good at their craft. And I always wanted to do the same thing and just be good at what I'm doing, be good at anything I try to do in my life. And acting came, I guess, through that.
What would you say are your main interests, like drama, action, when it comes to acting?
I like doing independent films, because when you do an independent film, you get to go through the process. You know, you see the whole film grow. You start as a really low budget movie, or it may be not that much money, and you get to see the movie being made. Then it goes through the independent process, which is the festival, Sundance, and Canada and stuff like that. And then you get to see it sell, then distribute, and then it's kind of all worth it, you know. And the stories are better when you're doing independent films, which are really drama films.
I know you're currently working on a new film, or you just finished it, called GWB. Tell us a little bit about that film.
Well, that story is written and directed by John Ullman, who resides in Washington Heights. He wrote the story, and I thought it was an amazing story when I saw the script. And right away, I kind of connected to the story, because the thing about Hollywood and filmmaking is that they depict Latinos as gangsters all the time, or thugs. You know what I'm saying? And this story wasn't that. He's a cook who has a family, who wants to, support raise his little brother, and that's what it is. I'm trying to raise my little brother to be a better person, but at the same time, a lot of things happen in the community that we live in.
Was it easy for you to relate to the character, since you also grew up in Washington Heights?
It was, but at the same time, I didn't know how to play because the thing about that role, his name is Diego Santiago, and he's a father to his little brother, but also a mother. So he has to cook for him and take care of him as a mother would. So it wasn't easy. So I had to kind of see it from the perspective of my own mother, who raised me by herself, and I had to kind of see the things she did for me and kind of take that into on the set and try to do the same thing my mother did as I grew up.
So why is the movie called GWB?
Well, the bridge itself is like a character in the film, because the movie starts there and it ends, but I can't tell you that, because then I'll tell you the ending.
Okay.
But it has to do with the story. Washington Heights, it's what I'm saying. You live in Washington Heights, and it's kind of like the hood, as we call it, right? But across from the bridge is the suburbs. So it's one bridge, it's one drive away from a different life, and it means a lot.
Where are you from?
I'm Dominican, but I'm originally from Uptown Inwood.
But you were raised in Washington Heights as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? Are you currently working in any other projects?
Yeah, no. Right now, I'm working with True Sounds. They're a group of producers who make good music, and I'm writing and recording an album right now as we speak.
So, do you enjoy what you do? Is it hard to make a living out of it, or how do you do? You do other things on the side?
It is hard because you become a working actor, which is basically just out there trying to get the next job, and it's something that you can't survive on unless you're doing it full time. So I've dedicated myself, and thankfully I've been lucky enough to do commercials that that give residuals, and when you get any residuals, that's based on the plays that it gets on TV. You're able to have more freedom and kind of just go auditions, because auditioning you do it in the morning time, so you can't really work in the morning time. You have to get a job at night. So for any actor out there, I would say do commercials, get into it, get involved, and there's so many things you could do. There's editing, there's auditioning, all that helps you, and you could really survive on acting if you know how to do it right.
I know you recently also traveled to the Dominican Republic to film as well. How was that experience?
Man, I'm depressed. I'm here. I wish I was over there. I had a great time in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
The president of the Dominican Republic, he has this thing called Funglode, and it's his film. It's his film festival, and he's not gonna be president next year, but the festival is still gonna be there. And I've been there before with Sugar. We headlined the film out there for Sugar in 2008. And now with GWB, we did this time again.
Have you ever acted in Spanish as well?
Yeah, Sugar was 80 or 90% in Spanish.
So far, which one would you say is the movie you enjoy the most?
Oh, that's not fair to say.
There has to be one you enjoy the most.
I'm going to say, to be fair, I'm going to say the first film I did, or not even. I think I had my own unique experience with every film I've done so far. With Sugar, we got to travel to Arizona, Iowa, Dominican Republic, and shot in the Bronx in New York around Yankee Stadium. So that was an experience because I was away for like 4 months shooting this film. But the last film I did was shot in my hometown, my home. So I had a good time doing that too. But I always find that the crew is very important, to have a good chemistry with the crew and everyone involved. So they all good to me.
So how do you find your gigs? Just auditions and auditions?
Well, I have an agent, and my agent is Don Buckwood, and they get me auditions, they get me appointments, and I have to do the job of booking those.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing now, auditioning a lot.
And out of all the films, which one would you consider the hardest to make?
The hardest to make could be the last one I did, because it was a very, it was a low budget film, and we shot it in 16 days. So you imagine films take 40 something days to shoot, even more. We shot that in 16 days, which meant we had to work 12 hours. And there was times, I would come in at 8 in the night and I would leave at 8 in the morning. From shooting. So that was pretty hard, but it's fun because you don't even think about the time. You're just so into the what's happening all around you that you don't even care.
So what about your music? Is this something you just do on the side, or are you really trying to get there as well? Yeah,
I do it on the side for now because I'm acting, but it's something that I always want to do because the difference between acting is that you get to play a different person. And it's good because sometimes you want to get out yourself and kind of be someone else for some time. But with music, you get to be yourself and express who you are and the things that you want to say. So it's a balance because I want to do both, and the music helps me vent through the things that I've been through and I've seen.
What about musical theater? Have you ever tried music?
Like In the Heights. Right, In the Heights is a Broadway show. I can't sing to save my life, but a lot of those plays require for you to be a singer, unless it's like In the Heights where you could like kind of rap.
And your rapping is more like poetry.
It's more like poetry,
type, right? Okay.
It is more like poetry. I try to write things that make sense and have some type of topic that's relevant to today.
As of right now, what would you consider your biggest accomplishment?
It's gonna sound cheesy, but I think it's making my mother proud of the things that I've done. because really that's all. At the end of the day, that's all it is. You know, you got to be, your family has to be happy, and family comes first. So everything I've done and things that I'm trying to do don't mean anything if my family doesn't support me. So
Right.
it makes me really happy that they support me and they behind me all the time.
What advice would you give to inspiring actors?
To just plug away, like don't give up, and just it's hard because the thing about this business is it's all about rejection, and rejection, it takes a toll on you, and it's really physically, it stresses you to the point that you break down. When you want something badly but you can't get it. See, the thing about being passionate is that the passion, you know, slaps you in the face when you don't get what you want. But I would say just keep doing what you're doing, keep hustling, keep grinding, and hone your craft. You know what I'm saying? Meaning go to school, learn it, really learn it. Don't just do it because you think it looks cool. Do it because you want to do it, because it's something that inside of you want to let out. So study and go to school for it.
How important would you say is a theater degree?
It's very, I would say, because theater is so natural. You on stage, and like one of the guests, he's going to be here later, he said that you get that quick reaction from the crowd, and you know, and having a degree, it makes you, it gives you a backbone, I guess.
Yeah.
And I've been to a couple of shows here in this campus, and really good shows, I would say, that they put up in the school.
Right. So how can people get a hold of you? How can they get in contact with you?
Well, as far as me, I guess, you know, the social networks, I'm on Facebook and stuff like that, but I do have an agent with Don Buckle, and my main point there is John Mason. So for anything like that, for as far as film, you know, they go through the agency first.